is everyone doing this evening? It's been a while, as I say in the description. In the good old Midwest, I live in Michigan. Oh boy, do we get a ton of snow. So I've been doing a lot of shoveling, a lot of stuff around that. I mean, we had a very green winter this year. Or not green winter, green Christmas. So through the month of December, we really didn't get any snow, and if we did, it melted pretty quickly. But in January, oh my God, we've had quite a lot of snow. So tonight, what I think we're going to do is I'm going to warm up a little bit, maybe 5 minutes or so. Just let me bring this up a little bit. Drop two shapes. There's a warm up now. Final ones. With this, I always gotta find. I just feel somewhat uncomfortable. The real world might peek in with my green screen. So one other thing I've been doing that I mentioned last time, and I'm hoping. Oh no, I can't see. 1 second, let me adjust this a little bit so I can see. There we go. Hoping I set up an extender in my house too, so I'm hoping that I get a little bit better or not bit rate, but you know what I'm saying, data transfer for streaming. So I'm hoping it's a little more steady. So in that last kind of weird stream that lasted maybe 30 minutes, what I was working on and explaining was a way to do contrary motion with mostly just using drop 2 or drop 3 shapes. And what you can find out is if you do this pattern where you go, starts with unison, then you do the top 2 notes of the drop 3 shape. Oops. Top 2 notes of the drop 2 shape. Top 3 notes of drop 3 or drop 2, it doesn't necessarily matter. Then the one that's different is you do an octave shell. So we need to play the 5th. And then usually I'll play the drop 2 between its lines. And then it's drop 2. And then it's right after this, it's drop 3. Wait. Then it's drop 2 and 4, which for the diminished shape looks like this. A jagged looking thing, if you can see. So it's from the top notes down, I always do from the bottom notes down. So it's 10, 11, 12 on the 5th, 4th, 2nd, and 1st string. And the final one is you do 2 octaves and the top 3 drop 2. So it looks like this. And if you notice, the bass movement there is contrary. We're moving up, and the bass movement is moving down the scale. Nice thing to do. It sounds really pretty. The most useful one, and you'll see me do this a lot, is the top 2 drop 3 and drop 2 naturally create. And then maybe to the top 3 of either drop 2 or drop 3 creates this nice contrary movement. Scale down. So, and I talked about that before. Let me open it up on this other monitor because I think I kept it in the description, but Yeah, I think it's right here. This document right here that's in the description that I put on just put on my Google Drive. This thing right here. Maybe a little too big. Maybe about there. Right, so unison, drop 3, drop 2, drop 3, octave and drop 2. Drop 2, drop 3, drop 2 and 4, and then drop 2 and the double octave is what I call it. And those are pretty easy to remember. So you really only need, technically, you could think of the double octave as a different shape, but really you only need drop 2, drop 3, and drop 2 and 4 to get this type of contrary motion that I'm talking about. Pretty cool. You know, something that I'm working on. More generally, one way to think about it is if you start, let me go back to full video for this. If I can get to full video. There we go. Is if you start, let's say, let's just choose a key, C. And if you go down the scale, so 8, or octave 8, 7, 6, 5, and of course for the diminished 6 we put. But if you start on the 6th, just go down, right? 6, flat 6, 5, but go up on the top notes. That movement is really nice. And it's really easy to implement. You know, you can reverse it. You can also, so you can get your bass movement kind of going in half steps, and your melody, the top note, moving in whole steps. Just a nice thing to do. No, something I picked up. What I think we're going to do now is I've been practicing a little bit of, and I'll add it to the spreadsheet that we've been using before, but The Way You Look Tonight. I'm just going to play that for a little bit. like that song quite a bit. One way to deconstruct it, right? I played an F. So, and another way to work on these type of diminished sixth ideas is to try and play the drop two with a with the scale, right? So we're an F. The way I like playing it is starting on the 10th fret. So once you get that, just usual box shape. In this case, it'll be your like index finger shape, I guess, adjusted for using starting on the third string. So I like doing 3, 2, 3. Okay, with that note on top, we can do our various drop two shapes. So we get. And there's different ways you can practice that. As I said, think of it like a scale. So I'll use my footstool to make myself a little bit more comfortable here. So let's think about this in thirds. So 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, flat 6. Sixth sense. Flat 6 to 7. 6 to 8. We can do it back down. So the good news for the way you look tonight, it's mostly the scale, right? So if you want to know the melody, it's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And usually, I think the real book has this, and you'll hear some versions play this. I think Keith Jarrett's version does this too. So it's 5, 6, 4, 5, 3, 2, 2, 3. So, and I like 7, 8. So that's the A section. It's it's just a good melody. It's really super simple. You're going 3 up, and then, right? So it's. So it's 3 up and down, and you go up the next step in the scale, 3 up and down. You keep doing that. Until you reach the 4th, and then by the time you reach the 5th, you just go all the way up. Right. With, a slightly different rhythm, right? Because we've been doing a lot of. Oops. we were doing these scalar movements, we skip to the fifths. It's 1, sort of 2, 3, 5, 4, 3. So if you notice, that's all in whatever scale. In this case, I'm using F. I like playing it in F. I've seen it also in E flat, but whatever. I chose F because we already have It Happened to You, which of course we're playing B flat, right? So. Right, that's an E flat. So just different key. So anyways, back to the way you look tonight. The only thing that's different is the bridge. And the bridge, you could do a similar trick. If you notice the chords, if you go to your real book, or if you just listen to how people play this, it is on the minor third of F. So that's A flat. But it's A flat major. Right? Because you get something that sounds like this. The root is, of course, right here. And it started on the third. And that note is, of course, the octave, but it happens to be, I believe, the sixth of A flat major. And you go to the fifth of A flat. So you can do the same thing. Let's do A flat up to the sixth, because that's what we need for the moment. But it turns out it's just very similar. So you can harmonize the entire melody, because we just need to know F and A flat. Again, we're just using our shapes. Everything's, because the way I've structured it, everything's on top. We don't have to think about it too much. We think about our scale shapes and the various things that go with it. So let's just try very slowly to try and play our drop two shapes. as you can see, I need to practice it a little bit more, make it more fluent. But, this is a general takeaway you can do, if you like jazz standards. Try and see if you can break them down into their keys, right? And using that same trick of like, can you just take the major scale, right, if it's in a major key? Can you just say, oh, this is all diatonic to it? Then you can just do this harmony stuff. You can look at the chords, you can do all different types of stuff. You can do all of Barry Harris's substitution rules. And what's cool about this is you don't necessarily have to play all four shapes, or like all four string shapes. You can just stick with the top three, or as I said, in this F, you can go back to some of the other ideas that I was talking about, where it's like, let's say you wanted to do the type of contrary motion stuff I was talking about. So you can get there. Same way, this type of box shape, right? As I said, that's why it's like you gotta learn. That's why I always start with, and getting that stuff more fluent, because it'll just come natural to you. It's like you can translate it once you start doing the box shapes, because all the different string sets in drop 2. It makes it easy. And then, of course, the extension of this stuff is doing drop 3 and drop 2 and 4. Right? Once you do that, you can just easily translate this contrary motion stuff. And you can put it in reverse. The idea is creating really interesting bass movement that doesn't necessarily have to go in parallel with your, melodic movement. So one thing I was going to say is, what's nice about even just drop 2, you can just keep the drop 3, because for me it's like a little bit too much. My hands aren't quite nimble enough to do that. But a lot of times, you can just mess with just doing the top 3. Oh, oops. Very similar idea to what we kind of started out with. I'm just using the triads to get, this thing here, when back in like D minor, if I can remember the shapes, but it was something like this, where it was. Same idea, but actually using the real diminished sixth concepts right before, so you get the same idea. And just playing that again, some of it sounds like this. Stuff like 3 up, right? So something like this. And in this case, I'm omitting if you know the shape, you don't use it in the melody. You don't need to use the flat 6. But in case you want to know the shape, it's just the same as the diminished shape. Right? It's this. I think for improvising, it's having these shapes. Especially the top 3 is when it starts getting. You have a lot of bigger sound if you can, interweave three voices. So again, just a practice idea. Here, Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? I mean, just working these through the melodies, really helps. So one other thing that I wanted to talk about is you can actually use this if you're using the natural minor, or in general any melody that's using the mode of, let's say, the major scale. Just keep it simple. You can use this concept. It's just gonna maybe rearrange where the chromatic between the 5 minors or flat 6 and 6 is, but it definitely works for the natural minor. So, for example, Beautiful Love, right? Which, and we're playing that in D minor. If you notice, that's all. This is natural minor. Or Aeolian. I don't think you should practice the modes. You just know that it's constructed the same way as the major scale, just starting on a different note. Well, let's say we want to harmonize the scale. Because use the major scale, let's use our same concept of using the diminished sixth scale, just starting on the 6. So you get something that sounds like this. So maybe just playing some parts of Beautiful Love. And again, I gotta practice it a little bit faster, right? A little more natural. That goes out again, very similar idea to what we were doing before, where it's like you can deconstruct these into the keys that they represent. My idea would be taking this note right here, which is of course A, so we can think about this. G. No, this is A major. This is the 5. scale. These notes are the major seventh, the major sixth. You need to think of a way to do that. My idea is to take, what would that be? See, and that's a good point. Let's see what we have in the chart that I wrote of that part. What do the chords do? Yeah, they go to A dominant. Let me switch over to the monitor. Yeah, there we go. Switch over to the monitor for a second. I'm gonna take like a 2-minute break. I'm going for about a half an hour. You see in this, if you can see my screen, I'll zoom in, and I'll keep the note up so you can see what I'm pointing to. So da 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 da. So D minor 7. We could also think about it as pointing towards C major, because we go D minor into G minor, and then we go into B flat. So that's a 2-5-1 pointing to C, and then it goes to B flat 7. But I like my idea of just keeping it in A major, because we never play G here, right? So you can harmonize it in that way. And I'm sure you could think of other ways, but just being able to create some type of very simple harmonization where you're not really thinking about it. My approach is to maybe to use A, your A major, and think about those shapes. And in that case, you're replacing, because it's in D minor, D F A. You're replacing the fifth with the major, right? So this is pretty easy, right? Quick change, just using those chords and thinking about it in that little section there, as thinking of it as, and maybe you could think of it as A dominant. In this case, you could just change this all to major, right? Because you're starting in the 5, right? So one trick to do here would just do. Let's not think about that too hard, but you get the idea. I mean, I just showed at least the way that I'm conceptualizing it, just easy, because this is, and again for this little part where the UK, it's 1 2 3 5 4 1, and it goes back to the other minor. So it's 1 2 3 5 4 1, and then it happens to be 7 6 in the minor key, 1 2 again in the minor key. Anyways, I'm going to take a real quick break, drink some water, be right back, and I think we'll actually play Beautiful Love for a little bit. Alright, be right back. If I can get this. Alright, I am back. I said it was going to be quick. I was just going to drink some water. So let's mess around with Beautiful Love. Okay. I like this song quite a bit. It was originally recommended by somebody who chatted and said, because I was doing Autumn Leaves, right? So Autumn Leaves. A little bit louder, I think. Oh, I turned this down a little bit. Right, you get the idea. Everybody plays it. Everybody knows it. But instead, something very similar is Beautiful Love. And, in that past section I was playing the melody. But I'm just going to riff on it for a little bit. I like that. As I said, one of my favorites. I really like Beautiful Love. Since I haven't done it in a while, let me go through the chord changes of Beautiful Love, because I don't necessarily remember. I remember like the general movements, right? So I know that, for example, it starts on E half diminished. So just play here. That's not right. One second. Now I do have to go through it. So it's B flat. Because yeah, it's the weird thing is that the end of the A section repeats this twice. Again, I feel like that's the part that's always weird, that it's this. So you got F major. Oh, sorry, F major. This is G minor. G minor is back to. minor is not. Is G minor? I don't think G minor is diatonic to D minor, right? No, it is. It is. Right, because we're thinking of the Aeolian. Right, so A is of course the fifth, so G is the fourth, but in the sixth, so it's 6, 7, 8, and 2, so 2 minor. So G minor is indeed diatonic. So, as I said, it's okay to flip back at that point, right? So when we go here. I'm just trying to convince myself that we can do the trick that I'm saying, but you know, it's kind of the theme here. Make it work, especially if you're doing, you know, solo stuff. Let's try and do a little bit of It Could Happen to You. But let me just play the melody again in single notes and maybe improvise for a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I was just messing around with it. Could happen. Again, I don't even know if I'm really following the changes. I'm just sound like, an E flat, just playing stuff that sounds nice. Even if you just follow the arpeggios, right? So it's E flat. Oh, sorry. And then it goes. I believe it's C7. Right, this is A, B, C. Then F minor. And D. I feel like I have the sound really in my head. I just feel very not necessarily self-conscious. I'm just like, I can't possibly be playing the changes, but maybe I should just do it. Record myself again, maybe with the backing track somewhat in the background. Yeah, I feel like I've made some decent improvement in general over the past how long have I been doing this? 3-4 months. But anyways, let's play Beautiful Love again, just because I like playing it. Yep. Bye. Play on Ricky. I like playing that a lot. I did all that work in, just improvising in D minor, and I feel like again maybe I'm playing repetitive lines or something. I feel like I should go back and critique myself, but I'm pretty happy with where I'm at now. I feel like I put a lot of good work in. Anyways, I said I was going to go for about an hour. And that's where we're at now. We'll see where we're at this weekend. As I said, man, it's been a lot of snow. It's been a lot of work to try and make things right. Has the world been poking in on the side this entire time? Oh, it sure has. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You can. I've shattered the illusion. Okay, I gotta move my green screen slightly over. That's funny. It's funny. I didn't notice just because whatever. It doesn't matter. Sorry, the illusion's broken, everybody. But anyways, thank you to all who watch and watch in the future. And yeah, see everybody soon.